Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a few questions as well. Do you know what the fiscal note is for this legislation?
So there's a fiscal note that came with it. It's got the $330 million that goes in the school safety allotment. It does not reflect the $1.1 billion, which actually is tied in here as far as the allocations and grants. But I think what the conversation Representative Hinojosa and I just had really kind of reflects the $1.4 billion going into this budget cycle. And then obviously the budget we almost all voted for yesterday, approved, would reflect all the monies we've just talked about that's going into school safety this session.
So as a follow-up to that, has this body provided an appropriation to fund the mandates, programs, and personnel required to implement this legislation?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay. Does the fiscal note account for the cost of Section 10's armed security officer requirement?
In my opinion, absolutely, because also if they say the funding is not available to them, they can actually ask for the waiver of the good cause exception and go into the school marshal program or look at the employee for policies and procedures that they believe is appropriate, which is obviously is very expensive.
But it's my understanding from the LBB, it estimates that this bill will have a significant impact on our local school districts, but does not contain any estimations or figures for the cost of the armed security officer mandate on each campus. Isn't that correct?
But I think it depends if you look at the good cause exception, which is the reason we structured HB3 originally when we left the House and even currently today. So if a school district says, look, we just cannot afford to go with a school resource officer and we want to actually go through the Marshall program or have policies and procedures that are currently able to do, they can meet that requirement, for little money or little training. And certainly the allocations under here would more than cover those costs. So they have the ability to request that good cause exception to basically go for somebody other than a school resource officer.
Do you have any sense of how much it would cost to require an armed security officer on each campus?
Well, it depends, again, which one you actually meet, whether we're going through the
gentleman's time has expired.